Hello, everyone. I am going to read something to you what I've written by hand. Okay, so here like this, and I write these things because it helps me to articulate something which I feel very strongly about. It needs to be articulated, and basically, what it comes down to is this: I know something that other people don't. And it needs to be said. It needs to be said very emphatically. And so in this writing, I state it very emphatically. As long as you have disembodied language, yeah, the language in which you do not even hear your own sound, yeah, you feel bad about feeling good about yourself. Yeah, that's what it is. So as long as you have your disembodied language in which you do not hear your own sound, you feel actually bad about feeling good about yourself. You better believe me. Yes, you feel guilty for being happy because everyone else is having disembodied language. And who are you to turn away from disembodied language, from what everyone else does? Who do you believe yourself to be that you can have embodied language and laugh about everyone's misery? Yes, that is what I do. I laugh at your misery. And I have embodied language. And I tell you who I am, okay, in this writing. I know the answer to the question, who are you to do this, to turn away from disembodied language? Because the answer to that question is, I am enlightened. And I have embodied language. That's why I am enlightened. And I do not believe I am enlightened. No, I know it. I know it because I say it and I enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy my embodied language. And I know you do not enjoy your disembodied language. I just know it. And that's why I just laugh at you. And I have every right to laugh about you because you are just miserable with your disembodied language, which I have left. And yes, I am enlightened and I've left you behind. That's what this writing is about. So what are you doing to yourself that you can never laugh about your own rigid behaviors, which obviously aren't working for you? Unless you laugh about these behaviors, of all your failures, yeah, all your problems, all your trouble, all your anxiety, all your negativity, unless you laugh about them, you cannot let them go. However, before you let them go, you will first have to admit that you were grasping at straws, yeah? You were hanging on to these things because you were grasping these behaviors. You were hanging on to them. And what you believe is now with, because of me, because of what I say and because of embodied language, what you believe is like sand falling out of your hands. Yeah. So to let go of your words is not to reach for them and to let your language emerge as it can only do when you listen to yourself. That's what I do. Yeah. So I'm not reaching for words. I let these words just emerge. And that's why I have embodied language. So yes, there is much less to be said than you had expected with embodied language because you feel silent. And this is a very beautiful thing, that when you begin to speak with yourself and hear yourself, all of a sudden you fall silent. You thought you had so much to say. And then all of a sudden you're out of words. Anyway, you have much less to say than expected because you feel silent. Paradoxically, it is also a paradox. Yeah, it gets really interesting. Paradoxically, it is this peacefulness that you feel, this silence that you feel, this at easeness that you feel, which makes you say new things. And once you get started with saying these new things, you just cannot stop because it is so fascinating, so exciting. It is so enjoyable and so interesting and so energizing. So that's what you hear me say, what you hear me talk about. And yeah, you probably cannot understand why that is, why I'm having such fun. But that is because I'm victorious. So your language makes you into a new person. Yeah, you become really a new person who talks very differently and who sees him or herself very differently because he or she hears him or herself speak. So yeah, your perception of who you are changes because you hear yourself. Also, your perception of the world changes. Yeah, the perception of others and of the world changes as you know everything is given attention and therefore it is created by you. The saying, you are the world, maybe you've heard that saying, you are the world, has real meaning, as everything that you experience can be verbalized and placed by you in such a manner that you understand that there is order in your life, and of course, that you are in charge of your language and in control of your own behavior. Wow, wouldn't that be great if you use your language effectively, correctly, and you are actually in charge of yourself? And instead of some sort of automatum, yeah. Okay. Nothing of what you do goes unnoticed with embodied language. And since you say what you do, it becomes clear why you don't do what you don't do. This is a very important part of embodied language. Yeah? Because you say what you do, it becomes clear why you don't do what you don't do. Because I don't do disembodied language. It's just not my thing. Okay? This, what I'm showing you here on this video, my embodied language, that is my thing. And it should be your thing too if you were, yeah, paying attention to how you sound. Many things you don't do because they are not good for you. Yeah, if you would listen to yourself, you would stop doing a whole bunch of things which are just not good for you. You just do them because you're not aware of them. You do them automatically. You don't want to do them. So many things with embodied language you will not do because they are not good for you. And what you do with embodied language has real meaning. As you use your language to describe it, you describe the meaning of your behavior. Thus, everything in your life gets your attention, and nothing is holding your attention, and you are full of energy and awareness. And your rhythm, your rhythm of your language is telling you when to be alone and when to be with others, or when to speak or when to be silent. When to speak, when to listen, write, or read, because you can also do that. You can be busy with language by listening, by writing, or by reading as well. And when to be totally quiet and without language. This is a very important part of our embodied language, that we become aware of the rhythm that brings us into silence, and then we come out of this silence and we become verbal again. And to be without language is also like sleep. Yeah, in your sleep, in your deep sleep, you are without language. And you can also have that experience of being without language during the day. And this stillness is not having anything to do with trying to be quiet. Yeah, people who try to be still, they're never still. Yeah. But if you have said what you wanted to say, then you will be still. Actually, you use your language as it emerges out of this stillness, and you let it again dissolve in the stillness. And that is what I do at this moment. Yeah. My language comes out of my stillness, and it also goes back into this stillness. In fact, your language disappears in silence because you have witnessed it emerging from your silence. And funny how the more quiet you get, the louder you want to be, because it is so delightful to experience and express your language.